Let's start with number A. Number A is to write down the aggregate expenditure function. As we said, aggregate expenditure, which is y, equals the summation of c plus I plus g plus x minus m. In our case, there is no x and m, so this is a closed economy. There is no international trade or international transactions with the rest of the world. So we are going to substitute in the equation with the given c 200 plus 0.6 yd plus I 120 plus 60, x and m zeros, okay, yd equals y minus t, and in our example it is a lump sum tax, as taxes can be as a percentage of income or fixed amount. Percentage of income, it's ty, small ty, say 10% of your income, okay, while fixed amount, just like this example, it is 80, so it doesn't depend on income. So we can write it as y minus 80. Then we are going to substitute in the aggregate expenditure equation using yd. So we can write it as y equals 200 plus 0.6 y minus 80 plus 120 plus 60. It's 200 plus 0.6y minus 80 multiplied by 0.6 it's 48 plus 120 plus 60. We can write it as summation of all autonomous expenditure together, so y equals $332 plus 0.6 y. This is aggregate expenditure equation. So this is requirement number 1. Aggregate expenditure is classified into autonomous and induced. So it is the summation of autonomous, which is equivalent to 332, and the induced, which is 0.6 y. Number 2. Number 2 is to find equilibrium level of real GDP. Equilibrium will be achieved as y equals lambda, which is the multiplier, multiplied by a, which is autonomous expenditure. Or, as we said, y equals 332 plus 0.6 y. So we can write it as y minus 0.6 y equals 332. So 0.4 y. So equilibrium y, or equilibrium level of real GDP, is 332 divided by 0.4. So it is 830. This is the equilibrium level of real GDP. Requirement number C is to find consumption and savings at equilibrium. Let's start with consumption. C equals 200 plus 0.6 yd, and YD equals Y minus 80. C equals 200 plus 0.6 multiplied by Y, which is equilibrium level of real GDP, 830 minus 80. So equilibrium, so consumption at equilibrium will be 650. With respect to savings, so we have to find saving function first. As we said, S equals negative A plus small s YD. And we know that small s equals 1 minus small c. Negative A is negative 200. And s is 1 minus 0.6, so it's 0.4 YD. So we can write it as negative 200 plus 0.4 multiplied by 830 minus 80. It's 100. Requirement number 4. Calculate both autonomous expenditure and induced expenditure in equilibrium. Autonomous has been calculated as A plus I plus G, which is 200 plus 120 plus 60, 380. But we have to deduct taxes as it's lump sum tax that does not depend on income. So this is gonna be minus 0.6 multiplied by T, which is 48. So it is 332. We can find it right like that, or from the aggregate expenditure equation, this is autonomous expenditure. And the same with respect to induced. From aggregate expenditure equation, we find that induced expenditure is 0.6 Y. So just we are going to substitute using equilibrium Y in order to find the induced expenditure at equilibrium. So it's 0.6 multiplied by equilibrium, it was 830. $498. If you are going to add 498 plus 332, you will find the total expenditure, aggregate expenditure at equilibrium, which is 830. Okay, next. What is the value of the multiplier? As we said, y equals lambda a. Lambda equals 1 over 1 minus b plus pt minus m plus m. Okay, so it is in our example 1 over 1 minus 0.6. Small t equals 0, so bt is 0. There is no inputs, so m is 0. So the multiplier will be 1 over 0.4. It's 2.5. You can find it in another way. You know that y is 830 and a is 332. If you are going to divide 830 by 332, you can find lambda, which is y over a, 2.5. The last requirement, suppose that autonomous investment expenditure increases by 50. I increase by 50. What would be the resulting change in the equilibrium level of real GDP? We would like to calculate the change, the addition. So change in y will be multiplier multiplied by change in I. Multiplier is 2.5 multiplied by change in y, which is 50. So it's 2.5 multiplied by 50. It's 125. So this is the change in equilibrium. What is the new equilibrium level? New equilibrium level is the old one, which is 830, plus the change or the addition. It will be 955. And this is the end of this chapter. بصوا يا جماعه، انا عارفه ان الشابتر ده بيبقى الجزء بتاع الماثيماتكس بتاعه تقيل شويه عليكم، فانا هنزل شيت فيه بروبلمز، حاولوا ان انتوا تحلوا وتدربوا عليها كتير. Thank you.